Good evening. Our top story tonight, my heart goes out to the Buffalo Bills fans once again playing little brother to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Truly heartbreaking, devastating. Could not feel worse for the Buffalo Bills, but the Kansas City Chiefs are moving on to face the Baltimore Ravens. The Houston Texans gave it a go. Wasn't enough. The Ravens are too good. Brock Purdy has a bad day and still comes out on top over Jordan Love, who also doesn't have a great day himself. And the Detroit Lions are headed to the NFC Championship, their second NFC Championship appearance ever. Since 1991, that's the only other time the Lions have made the NFC Championship. It is a great time to be a Lions fan. Not so great time to be a Buffalo Bills fan. We'll talk about the window. Is it open? Is it closed? Josh Allen's salary cap is about to explode, so we'll talk about that and more on Player Profiler Today. Like I said, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, they give it their all. Josh Allen, there is so much conversation lately about Josh Allen, especially today. Can Josh Allen win the big one? Is Josh Allen just not doing enough? But also, Josh Allen has played so well. There are so many conflicting testimonies. Here's my thoughts on the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. Josh Allen is absolutely good enough. 186 yards passing and a touchdown. Only 4.8 yards per attempt. Had an average depth of target under 6 yards, but that was the game plan. They wanted to play bully ball against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it worked for a lot of the game. It almost worked at the end. You cannot fault Josh Allen for Stephon Diggs dropping a 65-yard pass. You cannot fault Josh Allen for passing up Stephon Diggs. Everyone wants to talk about Stephon Diggs on the crosser. That maybe gets you close to a first down. You go for it on fourth down. Or you take the shot to a wide open Khalil Shakur. You don't know that your left tackle is going to get beat. So Josh Allen did everything that he could to get the win. 12 carries, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. 279 total yards from Josh Allen, 3 touchdowns, and it's just not good enough. He loses once again to Patrick Mahomes. Just heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. Josh Allen is now 5-5 in his 10 career playoff performances, and in those 10 playoff games, he has just 4 interceptions. He averages across 10 playoff games 272 yards passing, plus 56 yards rushing. He averages 2.7 touchdowns per game in the playoffs. Josh Allen is special. He is truly special, but this is something I talked about entering the season. The Bills did not do enough to set Josh Allen up for success. The fact that Gabriel Davis was his wide receiver too, and Gabe Davis didn't even play in this game, was an embarrassment. Khalil Shakur really stepped up. I'm very happy what we saw from Khalil Shakur to end the season. But the Buffalo Bills could have had DeAndre Hopkins, who's still got it. DeAndre Hopkins may have it more than Stephon Diggs even has it at this point. The season from Stephon Diggs versus DeAndre Hopkins looks like he's got more left in the tank, at least towards the end of the year. Because Stephon Diggs to end the year in this final game, 3 receptions, 8 targets, 27 yards. Doesn't catch the 65-yarder. And over his past 10 games, Stephon Diggs, his best game was 7 receptions for 87 yards. He had 7 receptions twice over his final 10 games. That was the second and third game of that 10-game stretch. Over the past 10 games, Stephon Diggs had under 40 yards 6 different times, and he only topped 50 yards 3 times over the final 10 games. Maybe it's a change of scenery. Maybe Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen's relationship just fell apart, but it's looking like Stephon Diggs might be cooked. He is not even in the top 3 of receivers for the Buffalo Bills in this contest. Dalton Kincaid, 5 of 5 for 45 yards. He's the leading receiver. Khalil Shakur is the wide receiver, 9 targets, 7 grabs, 44 yards, and a touchdown. Though That second touchdown, or not a touchdown, Gabe Davis probably comes down with that either way. That is the one thing Gabe Davis does change about this contest. They very well could have won it had Gabe Davis played, but it just wasn't enough. They try the fake punt, which I did not agree with. That absolutely shocked me. They try to run DeMar Hamlin on a fake punt. It doesn't work out. Sean McDermott says they wanted to be aggressive. They wanted to apply pressure. They didn't think they could stop the Kansas City Chiefs. And I understand all that, but you've got a literal unicorn at quarterback. Don't get cute with the fake punt to DeMar Hamlin when you need 5 yards. Just doesn't make sense. If you are going to be aggressive, be aggressive with Josh Allen. And hopefully they are aggressive with Josh Allen this coming offseason, though it's going to be tougher to do. Josh Allen's salary balloons. He's now going to be costing them $47 million on the salary cap, which is normal for a quarterback of his stature. But previously they'd had all these breaks in the cap because he was on his rookie deal. Then with the extension, the first couple of years of your extension, you get a discount in terms of how much it costs on the salary cap. So they're going to have to reload around Josh Allen because Gabe Davis is a free agent and he expects to be gone. Says there have been no talks about a contract between the Buffalo Bills and Gabe Davis. A lot of players on defense. Micah Hyde, starting safety, backup safety, Taylor Rapp. Most of their defensive tackles, if not all their defensive tackles, Daquan Jones, Poona Ford, Jordan Phillips, Tim Settle, and Linval Joseph, 5 different defensive tackles hitting free agency. AJ Epinesa, Shaq Lawson, both set to hit free agency. A couple of their defensive backs, Dane Jackson, Cam Lewis as well. Then on offense, 3 of their 4 running backs are set to hit free agency. You remember Damian Harris did play for the Buffalo Bills to start the year. He's a free agent. Ty Johnson is a free agent, and Latavius Murray is a free agent as well. At receiver, they also have Trent Sherfield as a receiver. So there's a lot of holes to fill, but there are a couple things you might notice. I didn't mention Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs still under contract. Will he be traded? Starting to look likely. Maybe not. We'll see how that shakes out. But you also notice that the offensive line is pretty much still all together. Jumbo offensive lineman Dave Edwards is the only free agent on this offensive line, and that's your 6th guy. So the starting 5 going to be back for the Buffalo Bills. That is great news. They are going to continue to protect Josh Allen. This is a unit that got better as the season went along on the offensive line. They were bullying the Kansas City Chiefs for a while. So the window's not closed, and the window won't be closed for Josh Allen. As long as Josh Allen is the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, he is that special. He is that phenomenal. As I heard, I think it was on ESPN, this is all Lee Frazier, and eventually Frazier is going to get one. All Josh Allen needs is to land one blow, and he's going to be winning, and he's going to be a Super Bowl champion. It just hasn't quite happened yet. But I still believe we'll get to the Kansas City Chiefs and more after this word from the Podfather.
This episode brought to you by Mojo. Mojo is that player stock market. We love Mojo because we like making lifetime bets on players. You run out the clock on these guys. Mojo just rolled out a brand new fantasy platform. That's right. So now you can build a portfolio of player props. Oh, Jamar Chase, over 77.5. Oh, Kadarius Toney, under 15.5. Whatever the under is on Kadarius Toney, doesn't matter. You can just stack up the props in your portfolio. And the beauty is, once the Sunday games kick off, it's not over. It's not over until it's over with Mojo, because once those games kick off, you can then move in and out of positions. Let's say that you're well ahead of expectations. You can cash out. Let's say you're behind expectations. You're underwater. Well, you can double down. That's what makes Mojo so special, why they're different. Check it out. Go to the App Store, get the Mojo app, and use the promo code UNDERWORLD. The promo code UNDERWORLD gets you a 100% deposit match up to $100. So the promo code is UNDERWORLD, and they will match your deposit dollar for dollar. Go to Mojo, start building your portfolio, and then during the games, you can be a fantasy day trader. Woo. Now, I know many of you are looking for a secret weapon for your Dynasty League, and I have it. It's called the Dynasty Dominator app. You go to the App Store, go to Google Play. It's right there. It's $5 to download, and then every year it's $5 to load the next incoming class of rookies. You can add Superflex, add tight end premium. It's incredible because it allows you to look up players. It allows you to vote on whether a player is a buy, hold, or sell, and then see the market sentiment on that player. And you can compare their lifetime value rating from PlayerProfiler to their Dynasty ADP at the FFPC, all in the price lookup tool. And beyond that, we have a trade analyzer, so you'll never lose another Dynasty trade again. And in our settings, you can set this is a win now team, this is a rebuilding team, and then we let you compare players. Look at their metrics side by side. Prospect metrics, NFL metrics. It's all there. It's $5 in the App Store. There's some add-ons for Superflex and to buy the upcoming rookie class. Every year, you're going to spend $5 on this thing, and it's going to be well worth it.
We do have some breaking news on the podcast here. The Panthers have hired their new general manager, Dan Morgan, former player for the Carolina Panthers, drafted. I don't know when he was drafted. He was a first-round pick, though, for the team. Won a Super Bowl with the Carolina Panthers. Has been working as the assistant general manager since 2021. Is this a case of just wanting a yes man for David Tepper, or is this a guy who just didn't get a chance under the previous regime? We will see how that all shakes out. We will do more information as word comes in. But in the meantime, Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is him. Patrick Mahomes wins again. 6 years as a starter, 6 AFC championship appearances for Patrick Mahomes. Just incredible. 2 touchdowns, 215 yards for him. Both of those touchdown passes go to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, not dead yet. He has a resurgent performance, unlike Stephon Diggs. 75 yards on 5 grabs. Just when you're out on Travis Kelce, just when you think he might be cooked, he pulls you back in. Rashee Rice has an okay day, 4 grabs for 47 yards. Marquez Valdez-Scantling catches 1 deep, and Noah Gray has 3 receptions as well. That just goes to show you how bad this passing game or how bad these receivers and pass catchers are for Patrick Mahomes. Mecole Hardman, an absolute liability. 1 carry, 1 reception, 1 yard, 2 fumbles, one of which gets lost. One of them turns over through the end zone. And the Buffalo Bills get the ball back. Isaiah Pacheco is the real hero of this performance outside of Patrick Mahomes. 15 carries and a reception for over 110 yards and a touchdown as well. Though, it might be harder for Isaiah Pacheco to run. Left guard Joe Thuney is questionable with an MRI on his pectoral muscle. It revealed that he has a strained pec. So we'll follow that throughout the week, see if Joe Thuney is going to play for the Kansas City Chiefs. As for the Houston Texans and Baltimore Ravens, the Ravens will play the Kansas City Chiefs. The Texans will join the Buffalo Bills on the couch. And CJ Stroud just wasn't his day. I thought that CJ Stroud was going to be able to move the ball. I thought with Marlon Humphrey out, CJ Stroud and Nico Collins were going to have a special performance. Instead, it's 175 yards from CJ Stroud, just 5 yards per attempt, 5.3 yards per attempt. And Nico Collins, 68 yards on 6 grabs, 10 targets from Nico Collins. And that's really it for the pass catchers. Nico Collins, 68 yards, great. Other than that, Dalton Schultz, 43 yards on 5 grabs. Free agent Dalton Schultz. Robert Woods, 1 grab on 4 targets, just a 6-yard reception. The only touchdown of the day comes from Steven Sims. We all remember him from that stretch he had to end the season for the Washington Commanders. Might have been the football team at that point so long ago, but Steven Sims, punt and return touchdown. But really, the offensive playmakers, it's just Nico Collins and Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary, who completely relegated Dameon Pierce. And it wasn't just Devin Singletary to relegate Dameon Pierce either. Dare Agumbawale played ahead of Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce, just a pure special teams player on Sunday. Woof. Absolutely brutal. The fall from grace. Devin Singletary, also a free agent. He has 9 carries, 5 receptions, 70 yards from Devin Singletary, so it's fine from him. Whereas Dare Agumbawale, 3 touches, 20 yards. Like I said, 0 offensive snaps for Dameon Pierce. They will be signing a running back, drafting a running back, whatever it is. Dameon Pierce is not the guy with the Houston Texans, but they have a lot of free agents with the Houston Texans. Dalton Schultz, a free agent. Noah Brown, a free agent. 2 other pass catchers. Devin Singletary, a free agent. Dare Agumbawale. Won't be surprised if Devin Singletary is back for the Houston Texans, but they will have Tank Dell back. So it's going to be Nico Collins and Tank Dell as the top 2 wide receivers. Probably need a 3 to replace Robert Woods or kick him down the pecking order. John Mechie didn't break out. Can't count on him to have that role. and or they need a tight end, because without Dalton Schultz, it's going to be Brevin Jordan, who did have that long catch and run, but he is not the answer. A couple offensive linemen hitting free agent, and then a bunch of defenders, 3 of their cornerbacks, Steven Nelson, Desmond King, and Tavir Thomas. A bunch of their safeties as well. Their linebacker, Blake Cashman, who is playing at an all-pro level this year, he's a free agent. Jonathan Grenard, one of their better pass rushers, a free agent as well. So the Texans are going to have to be doing some reloading, but given the direction of this franchise, it will be easy to convince free agents to sign with the Houston Texans. As for their opponents, the Baltimore Ravens, they continue to chug along. You'll see some bad faith posts that, Lamar Jackson only had 152 yards passing in the playoffs. If Tua did that and still won, people will be coming for his head. Completely ignoring the 100 yards rushing from Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, the first quarterback in NFL history, the only guy to ever do this, run for 100 yards in a playoff game 3 times at the quarterback position. Insane. Lamar Jackson is on a Hall of Fame pace already. He's going to be a 2-time MVP. Very well could be a Super Bowl champion. If Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP with a Super Bowl MVP, well, he could retire tomorrow and he would probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Lamar Jackson is absolutely incredible. Love Lamar Jackson and what the Ravens are doing. As you can tell, I am a fan of Lamar Jackson. Zay Flowers, his leading receiver, 41 yards on 4 grabs. Rashad Bateman is actually the number 2. He has 3 grabs for 39. Nelson Aguilar has the touchdown. Isaiah Likely has the other touchdown. Odell Beckham, just 1 grab for 12 yards. But don't really need to pass the ball a whole lot. They run all over the Houston Texans. Lamar Jackson goes over 100 yards. Justice Hill has 66 yards rushing, 5.1 yards per carry. Gus Edwards has 40 yards rushing, 4.0 yards a carry. So that's over 100 yards from just those 2 backs. Dalvin Cook mixes in for 23 yards as well, but he did so on 8 carries, only 2.9 yards per carry. That's why Dalvin Cook is RB3. That's why Dalvin Cook is lower in the pecking order, and that's why Dalvin Cook didn't get touches with the New York Jets. That being said, they were stacking the box. It was the end of the game when Dalvin Cook was getting his carries, so don't think it's as bad as it looks, but I think it's pretty clear that Justice Hill and Gus Edwards are better than Dalvin Cook at this point. Good news for the Baltimore Ravens. They will have Marlon Humphrey back. He will be playing. Maybe he shadows Rashee Rice, but either way, Marlon Humphrey is going to return from the calf injury that caused him to miss this game against the Houston Texans, caused him to miss week 18 as well. But Marlon Humphrey back, and the Ravens are at full strength. As for the Green Bay Packers and the NFC, they lose to the 49ers. Jordan Love is about to get paid this offseason. Remember, the Green Bay Packers did some finagling with his contract, make sure that they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. They gave him the chance to earn more money than his 5th-year option with the freedom to move on as well. So Jordan Love still has 1 year left on his contract. The Packers are going to lock him up in the driving rain. 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. The problem is the 2 interceptions from Jordan Love. He is full-blown Brett Favre. He has the confidence to make any throw. And much like Brett Favre, it doesn't always work out. It is not always going to happen with Brett Favre or Jordan Love, but it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun to watch that game no matter what. That's a combination of Aaron Jones and Emmanuel Wilson. Aaron Jones goes for 116 yards, 18 carries, 3 receptions. Emmanuel Wilson is the clear backup for the Green Bay Packers. 4 carries, 1 reception, 27 yards for him. A.J. Dillon is out of this contest, and A.J. Dillon is set for free agency. Aaron Jones could be set for free agency as well. They may move on from Aaron Jones. They can do it to save some money this offseason. We'll see how the Packers play it. They could keep Aaron Jones because this is a young offense that saw Romeo Doubs go for 83 yards, Jaden Reed go for 44 yards, Bo Melton catching the 1 touchdown pass from Jordan Love, and the other goes to Tucker Kraft, the tight end. Luke Musgrave has 3 receptions himself, both Kraft and Musgrave, 3 receptions, which might be bad for fantasy football next year. I don't know who you're going to draft. There is no clear answer between Musgrave and Kraft. All I know is Jaden Reed is the wide receiver 1. And Christian Watson only 1 reception for 11 yards, 2 targets. He's going to be meeting with doctors and the medical staff of the Green Bay Packers, trying to figure out what's up with his hamstring injuries, because he knows he's trying his best. It's not that Christian Watson's being lazy. It's not like he's not working hard. It's not like he's doing anything wrong. but he might be doing something wrong. And he admits this. He's got to take ownership of his body. He just might not know what the problem is. So he's going to look into it and how to best stay healthy in 2024. But we know Christian Watson has been working hard. Maybe he's working too hard. Maybe that's the hamstring injury. I don't know. Either way, this is a team that's going to be very much together in 2024. Not a whole lot of free agents. At safety, they have 3 different free agents at safety. Jonathan Owens, husband of Simone Biles, Rudy Ford, and Darnell Savage is their top 3 safeties. Might not be a bad thing because the Packers had some of the worst safety play in the NFL this season. Outside of that, though, Eric Wilson, a reserve linebacker, Keyshawn Nixon, their punt returner, kick returner, cornerback, and Corey Ballantyne, their cornerback, which one of them's probably going to be back, but that position could be upgraded on as well. John Runyon, starting offensive lineman, he is going to be a free agent. Josh Nijman, their free agent backup, third tackle who got beat out by Rasheed Walker this year. He's a free agent. And then A.J. Dillon is a free agent, and Josiah DeGuara, and that's it. The rest of the pass catchers are back. Most of the offensive line is back, though. David Bakhtiari could be moving on. David Bakhtiari was seen in Las Vegas with Aaron Rodgers and the rest of the Jets' offensive line. Aaron Rodgers took his offensive line, even though he only played 4 snaps with them. Took them all to Vegas. Excited for the next year. And who did we spy with him as well? David Bakhtiari. Won't be surprised if he ends up with the New York Jets, whether he's cut, whether he's traded. Looks like his time in Green Bay has come to a close. As for the San Francisco 49ers, they win their game with Brock Purdy not having his best day. Let's be honest, Brock Purdy was not particularly good throughout the game, but he won in the clutch. He went on the game-winning drive. And sometimes you're not going to play your best game. But Brock Purdy is still a very, very talented quarterback in the NFL. The difference in this contest with the Detroit Lions is going to be Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel, only 2 receptions for 24 yards. He leaves with a shoulder injury. And we don't know if he's going to play. They're calling it about 50-50 shot that Deebo Samuel plays for the San Francisco 49ers this weekend, which completely changes the game plan. Because so much of what the San Francisco 49ers do involves Deebo Samuel. Even if he's not getting the ball, even if he's off ball, there's so much motion, so much other mind tricks that the 49ers like to play with Deebo Samuel, and that might be completely removed from the playbook. In his stead, Juwan Jennings is the leading wide receiver, 61 yards on 5 grabs. Brandon Ayuk does not have the day that I expected. Brandon Ayuk only 32 yards on 3 grabs. George Kittle has a big day. He ends up leading in receiving overall, 81 yards and a touchdown from George Kittle. And Christian McCaffrey, of course, is Christian McCaffrey. Elite, electric, 17 carries, 98 yards, 7 receptions, 30 yards. It's 128 yards and 2 TDs from CMC. It's still fantasy football season, and you can still play DFS and all that, but still 31.8 PPR points from Christian McCaffrey. Absolutely insane from CMC. What a day. Final game that we got to bear witness to, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, 3 touchdowns, 349 yards, though it's the 2 interceptions that kill him in the end. One of them not his fault. It's a batted pass. Actually, it wasn't even a batted pass. It was Mike Evans dropping the ball and it going right into the hands of CJGJ. The second interception was to end the game. But Baker Mayfield has done more than enough to prove he should be back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He should be with the starting quarterback. Baker Mayfield did bring the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs, did get a win for the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs. They cast him aside. He was unfairly treated after playing through injury. Now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he gets them to the playoffs, gets them a playoff win as well. Baker Mayfield is not the quarterback I thought he was when he was drafted first overall. I was a big Baker Mayfield fan then. I thought he was going to be the next big thing. But Baker Mayfield is at least pretty good at football. And he's hoping that he has Mike Evans back this year. 8 grabs, 147 yards, and a touchdown, though a couple of drops. One of them leads to the interception. Mike Evans also set to be a free agent. The Bucs have a lot of guys that they need to re-sign, or a lot of players that could be moving on. Though, they also have a lot of money to spend because now Tom Brady is no longer on the books. So Antoine Winfield, their all-pro safety, Levante David, and Devin White, their top 2 linebackers, though Devin White did end up getting benched for KJ Britt. Offensive lineman Aaron Stinney and Matt Filer are both free agents. Ryan Neal, Greg Gaines, Will Golston, Pat O'Connor in the defensive rotation as well. So some moves and decisions to be made, but it looks like Baker Mayfield is going to be back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it looks like Rachaad White is just good at football. He gets banged up throughout the game, but 6.1 yards per carry against the Detroit Lions. That does not happen too often. The Lions have actually been pretty good at stopping the run. And he has 4 receptions, 36 yards, and a touchdown. 91-yard day from Rachaad White. He is the real deal. Now imagine what happens when they invest in that offensive line. As for the Detroit Lions, what a day. What a day from the Detroit Lions. Just loved it. Absolutely love it. 2 touchdowns from Jared Goff. 1 to Amon-Ra St. Brown. The other to Josh Reynolds. We see a touchdown from Jahmyr Gibbs as well. Jahmyr Gibbs has fully taken over. He is playing as good as any running back not named Christian McCaffrey. 9 carries, 74 yards, 8.2 yards per carry against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 4 receptions, 40 yards, 114 yards on the day with a touchdown from Jahmyr Gibbs. Other touchdown goes to Craig Reynolds. I was wrong on that. I thought that Dave Montgomery would get a touchdown. Instead, they put RB3 in on the goal line saying, hey, we're going to throw the ball. No, we're not. We're going to hand it off. Bold move by Ben Johnson. Love to see it. And the Detroit Lions looking pretty healthy. Frank Ragnow did sprain his ankle and his knee, though he is expected to play in the NFC Championship game. Unfortunately, left guard Jonah Jackson is expected to miss. He had a meniscus surgery, which likely means that he had a scope on his knee. And so Jonah Jackson is expected to miss the NFC Championship game, though he could return for the Super Bowl. These scopes, oftentimes, they're only a 2-week surgery, which is insane, but NFL players are superhuman. So Jonah Jackson could make it back for the Super Bowl if the Detroit Lions make it that far. And if they make it that far, Zach Ertz will be competing in the Super Bowl once again. Zach Ertz signs with the Detroit Lions. He worked with tight end coach Steve Hyden back in Arizona. This was a move out of necessity for the Detroit Lions. Brock Wright, their tight end too, who had a game-breaking play, broke his forearm. He's going to be out for this contest, probably going to be out for the Super Bowl as well. Whereas tight end James Mitchell is on injured reserve with a broken hand. He had surgery as well. So it was down to Sam Laporta and Anthony Ferkser as the top 2 tight ends left available. Now they go out and sign Zach Ertz. Final note on the Detroit Lions, their chief operating officer, Mike Dissner, did remove himself from the conversation to be the next general manager of the Carolina Panthers before they announced Dan Morgan as their new GM. A lot of guys in Detroit want to stay in Detroit. A lot of people believe in what's happening, believe in what Dan Campbell is bringing to the Detroit Lions. So many people are here for the long run with the Detroit Lions. Ben Johnson very well could leave. Aaron Glenn may be getting head coaching opportunities as well. But you're seeing people want to be in Detroit. People want to play for the Detroit Lions. We'll be back on Wednesday with all sorts of information, news, and notes. Maybe we have some new coaching hires by then. Until then, we'll see you next time.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.